Hello everyone. Now, hopefully we have some of our, we've done some assessment of your news themes. I'm just going to quickly load up my example. So hopefully you've been doing some peer assessment and some self-assessment of the news theme progress that your you and your peers have made. Listening and seeing, have they used chords, have they used cadences, have they kind of added in the instruments and stuff, and does it sound like a news theme? And you've had a look at the assessment sheet as well, the most recent assessment sheet. I'm just going to quickly focus on adding the voiceover. Some of you, your target was adding, improving on your news style voiceover. So I'm just going to quickly recap on how to add a microphone into Cubase. Okay, now, you got used to adding an instrument track, but when you did your last voiceover, you have to add an audio track. So I'm going to add an audio track, and it's going to be a mono audio track. Okay, microphone. So this, imagine you've got a microphone, you've plugged the microphone in with the XLR cable into your UR22, into your sound interface, and we're going to add a mono audio track. Okay, I'm just going to quickly add that in, drag it down to the bottom. That's our mono audio track, and I'm going to double click that and name it Voiceover. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure that here in our VST connections, so devices, VST connections, you want to make sure that you have added a bus, a mono bus, which for you will be something along the lines of stereo in L, left, which means hence when you plug your microphone into the left hand side input, it listens on that input and hence it records that input rather than a different input. Okay, and if I go into there, now above stereo out I can choose mono in. So when you set up a mono in your VST connections tab, you can just press F4 to get there with channel 1 for me. When I go into here, that mono in now, if I just quickly click on that, 1, 2, it receives my voice. Now you'll get an odd echo there, just because my voice is already being recorded at this point. But again, when you press this monitor, you don't want to keep that on, but it just means that you are definitely getting a signal. 1, 2, you can see that jumping up and down. So it's receiving a signal. When we've done that, we would want to therefore, I'm going to slightly move my news theme there, give myself a little bit extra time to talk. Okay, and you would probably script this out, but I'm just going to make it up. I'm going to record my voice and then literally introduce the news, and once that little bit has the news is finished, make up some headlines. Okay, so this is for some of you what you've got as a target, so I wanted to focus on reminding you how to do this. Here we go. It's 6 o'clock, and here is the news with Mr. Lubkowski. Okay, so I've got my little voiceover there. Lubkowski. Okay, like so. Now, you should hopefully remember, okay, obviously that's where the audio kind of comes in. Now, you'll see this little area up here where it says snap on off. I actually, when I'm doing audio, want to turn snap off. That means that means that I can edit things and it doesn't snap to the nearest bar or beat. So I can actually edit things, okay? And I can then do my things like dragging the middle thing and making it louder, or I can drag this little bit here. And again, remembering our crossfade, I'm going to fade that in and fade it out just so it doesn't suddenly come in. I can move this around, etc. I can cut bits out. Okay, but generally I've just took it there, made it a little bit louder. Let's have a listen. It's 6 o'clock, and here is the news with Mr. Lubkowski. Okay, so that's all right, not too bad at all. And when it's finished, I'm then gonna make up some news. Okay then, here's their headlines. Mr. Lubkowski is extremely tall. Music is the greatest subject known to man. And one day we will all turn into chocolate brownies. Though that news might not be 100% real. That might be fake news. So obviously you probably guessed that that wasn't real, but I've just got rid, and you can edit, do a little bit of that fade in again by clicking and dragging. The end of my news, again, I can click and drag and fade out, and again just make the whole of that little bit of news a little bit louder, just a little bit louder, so it kind of blends okay. So if I just quickly have a listen. Okay then, here's their headlines. Mr. Lubkowski is extremely tall, music is the greatest subject known to man, and one day we will all turn into chocolate brownies. Brownies. Anyway, if that was my news, you'd have scripted that out and you've recorded yourselves, looking at style and clarity and then timing and stuff like that, making sure that you'll notice that my little bit there finished just before it came in. When you've done that, for those of you who get to that point, or maybe who had it as a specific target, I've reset my left and right locators, okay, to include that voiceover, okay, and I would go and say File, Save As first. So imagine this is another lesson. File, Save As, 23rd. And I would then go File, Export, Audio Mixdown. And I'm going to call it News Theme 7MU1 Mr. Lubkowski and a Cup of Coffee. But I'm going to add a little thing that says with voiceover. So I know. So you might have already had one assessed. But again, with voiceover. And again, re-export it. So you've added your voiceover, and you have then re-exported it with that voiceover. Press cancel. If we pop into that folder, into news theme, like so, we'll see that there's the first version and then there's one with the voiceover. Okay, and again, you would then go in and email me that file with your voiceover, and then we could all mark that. Now, it may be that you choose to you get that far before you even have to send the first version, but again, that just varies on how quick you go. Again, slightly what your targets are that I gave you last time, but also probably what your target grade is. If you're looking at getting exceedings and extendings and extending pluses, then probably you're going to be wanting to get to definitely get into this area sooner rather than later. So you may get to this after a couple of lessons, depending on how quick you get the rest of it done. Then we've made sure we've saved it, and that pretty much is the end of the project. You've therefore got your voiceover, you've got your chords, you've got your synths and your drums and your brass and your strings, and you've got your assessments sorted, which means that is pretty much the news theme composition section done and finished. So very well done. Hopefully your marks and grades are really positive, and excellent. See you soon. Well done. Bye.